Today, we're going to be going over the 5 best players to buy in Dynasty Fantasy Football, starting off with Kyle Pitts, who is valued as the tight end 6, 63rd overall on Keep Trade Cut, and Arthur Smith is officially gone. We all know that, and everyone in the fantasy community is overjoyed. I know I was a big fan of Pitts coming out of college after his rookie season, and then Arthur Smith kind of just decided to destroy his whole career. On top of that, he's also been injured, so that doesn't help, but looking back at college, 4th overall pick, elite prospect, and in his rookie season, let's not forget, he broke the rookie tight end receiving record since 2000, of course. We're not really counting Mike Ditka back in the 1960s. But yeah, he didn't have an unbelievable fantasy football season that year just because he only had 1 touchdown. But let's look back. We're blaming that more on the volatility and the offense, considering he had 12 touchdowns in 8 games played in his final season at Florida. But looking at Pitts, I would rather have him than Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is pretty overrated now, in my opinion. He is a descending asset. He just coming off an injury at age 28. He's not getting any younger. Lamar's a great player, but it's not like the Ravens are an elite passing offense from the standpoint where they're going to throw the ball 50 times a game. Zay Flowers is coming on. Bateman's not bad. Although Beckham has been great. I'm not sure how well Beckham and Bateman are going to play in the long term, but I think they're definitely bringing in more competition than Mark Andrews has ever faced. Kincaid just has the issue with Dawson Knox. It seems like the Bills are more than comfortable putting Dawson Knox out there, and outside of an injury, it's limiting Kincaid's ceiling. Simply put, it's really hard for him to score a elite number of fantasy points when he's not playing 100% of the snaps. Other than that, if he becomes the tight end 1 standalone, he's in a great situation, but I'm not there yet because of what the Bills have shown us. Then Trey McBride, he's also a great player. I honestly thought he was very underrated even after he was proving himself this season, but now I'm just not as sold on him. I think he's probably the tight end 4 because he was dominating with how little target competition there was last year. Hollywood Brown was injured. I know he had Kyler at the end of the season, but it just seemed like he was the benefactor of being the only guy in that Cardinals offense. Now, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I think he's a great player. Let's not forget he was the best tight end in that 2022 draft class, but first guy picked in the 2nd round. But I think maybe a little bit of that is going to come down once, say, the Cardinals bring in Marvin Harrison, who is going to be, it seems like they're going to bring Marvin Harrison. If not, they're going to bring in someone else. And it just seems like McBride is never going to be the only number 1 option in that offense, which kind of scares me off him a little bit. But Kyle Pitts is just an amazing player, amazing talent. Situation should be much better, and now they are in a position to draft a quarterback, pick one up in free agency, more than likely draft. I would love, maybe they go Jaden Daniels, maybe they trade for Justin Fields, maybe they draft Michael Penix, Bo Nix. Anything is better than Desmond Ridder, and I'm really excited about Kyle Pitts. I think he can definitely rise up the dynasty ranks and is not nearly being talked about as much as I would like after Arthur Smith is gone, which is such a massive deal. Then the second player on this list is going to be controversial for some, but I am a huge Christian Watson fan, and I know he has not been able to stay healthy. He's never been consistent for a full season, but right now he's going at the wide receiver 31 price point. I think that he has a chance to rise a ton. 84th overall, he's going just behind guys like Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, and yes, I know they're productive veterans, but still, I think Watson just has so much more upside, and I'm buying the dip on Watson. I mean, after his hamstring injury, he missed 8 games in the 2023 season, but it just seems like he could never stay healthy. Even when he was playing, he was limited. That said, Watson finally looked healthy in Week 12, drew 7 targets, and turned that into 5 catches, 94 yards, and a touchdown. Watson looked very explosive. I watched that game live. Looked unbelievable. Looked like the player we saw his rookie year and more. Now, the next week, we see Watson get even better. Scores 27.6 points, but then he goes down with another injury. So, really, the main concern with Watson is that he's just been getting injured, and it's the same hamstring. Hopefully, he can stay healthy, but I just never like to bet against injuries. I don't think anyone's betting against his talent. Situation is amazing with Jordan Love. I know they like to spread the ball out. Jaden Reed's been great, but I'm not 100% sold on Romeo and Dobbs. I think Watson can crush even if they spread the ball out slightly, if they have Jordan Love as an elite quarterback, and they have Jaden Reed, who's not going to take every single target in this offense. I said, I'm just trusting the talent. As we look back in Watson's rookie season, he was one of the only rookies with 2.25 or higher yards per route run, and other players that hit that mark were Odell Beckham, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown, Josh Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Chris Olave, and then Watson. So obviously all these guys are valued much higher than Christian Watson in Dynasty, and pretty much everyone except for Olave has been a top 10 Dynasty wide receiver at some point. And Olave may even be ranked that high. No, he's kind of dropping down a little bit as well because of his situation and underperformance to some extent. I love Christian Watson. I think getting him at this price point is a very fair price point, but I expect him to skyrocket. I'm a believer in the talent, and I'm a believer in not judging a player because of their injury when it's not necessarily something that they can control 100% of the time. But I will say it's never a great sign to see him go down this consistently. And the next guy on my list is going to be Marquise Brown, who I have no idea why he's being valued as the wide receiver 43. It's not like he's old. He had a down year. He was not great last year, but let's not forget, Kyler Murray wasn't there for most of the season. I think Marquise Brown, like I said, he's not the biggest wide receiver. He's 5'9", 180 pounds. He's never meant to play that wide receiver one role. So kind of just forcing him in that position without D-Hop was never going to work out great for him. And we're kind of seeing exactly why. Just too undersized to play that Alpha X role. But I'm assuming they're bringing Marvin Harrison, bringing someone, and he could thrive in this wide receiver 2 role. The Cardinals offense should be much better. Would love to have a piece of that. I think they're going to be great next season. Kyler Murray is a good NFL quarterback. I don't really understand the hate on him. And Marquise Brown's only 26 years old. This just makes no sense. He's going around guys like Jahan Dotson, Jameson Williams, Calvin Ridley. I mean, what are we doing here? None of these guys have really ever done anything. Jameson Williams is terrible. Jahan Dotson, who knows what Jahan Dotson is ever going to do? He's so inconsistent, and he's going one spot ahead of Dontavion. Marquise Brown is arguably one of the best buys in Dynasty Fantasy Football. Calvin Ridley, the aging veteran. We'll see with him, but love Marquise Brown. He's a great player, and it's not like he just fell off a cliff last season. 9.6 points. Definitely. If you buy him, it is an extremely safe investment. There is realistically almost no way that his value goes down from that wide receiver 43 spot, according to Keep Trade Cut. Now, let's get into the running backs. We have James Conner at RB32. Now, I understand he is an older running back, but that said, James Conner was just so good last year. Unbelievable. Had the best season of his career. And yes, if you're a rebuilding team and you can't afford points on your roster, you probably aren't going to know that yet, but let's say that you are. You get to the year, you're like, okay, I'm going to be rebuilding. Yes, maybe it doesn't make as much sense to buy Conner, but in almost every situation, I believe you can just get Conner, and whatever you want to do with your roster, you can flip him for even more value by the time, the season comes around or a few weeks into the season. He had his best year as a 28-year-old running back. We're just looking at the numbers here. 5 yards per carry. He had 1,000 rushing yards for the first time in his career, 208 carries. These are all numbers that he's never produced until the second most carries he had was 2018 with 215. And he's showing no sign of slowing down. I know the age cliff was 28. It is a little concerning. And yes, I'm not saying he's probably going to put up 15.5 points per game like he did last year. But at the same time, it's definitely a possibility. And even if he falls down, let's say to 12, 13 points per game, that's still extremely high-end RB2 numbers. We got guys like Zamir White, Roschon Johnson, even Aaron Jones going ahead of him. Give me Conner easily ahead of any of these guys. 128 overall. I know running back is a dying position, and you want to buy these guys once you're ready to contend. But like I said, as an aging running back, Connor is the perfect buy for not only a player that's going to help you win games, but also a player that should show out. I think he's going to be just as good, or if not, slightly worse, because the Cardinals' better situation should offset that, production drop from his age. Then we have Rhamondre Stevenson, who's being valued as the running back 18 and 95th overall, going directly behind guys like David Montgomery, Javonte Williams, Josh Jacobs. I would rather have him over Montgomery and Javonte for sure. Jacobs was a toss-up. Let's see what the situation looks like for him. But we're forgetting that Rhamondre Stevenson just a year ago was being valued a lot higher than this. If we look at his positional rank, yeah, let's go back to, October last year. He's being valued as a top 10 Dynasty running back. And that's coming off a 14 point per game season with the Patriots. And something that's very important to note is Bill Belichick is now officially gone. We all know Belichick traditionally loves to run with two running backs. We've seen it plenty of times. They brought in Ezekiel Elliott for a fair amount of money. That is my bad. I was in on Stevenson last year. I thought Elliott wouldn't do anything, but they paid him a good amount of money. That said, Stevenson's contract is here for the long term, and Ezekiel Elliott is not. Stevenson should be along much longer than Elliott. He's only 25 years old, going to be 26 by the time the season starts. But I think you have at least another 2 to 3 more good years out of Stevenson. And just my strategy for this is right now, he's going as the RB18. I don't think that worst case scenario, he stays at this value. And best case scenario, this offense gets a lot better with a new offensive coordinator, new culture change in New England with Jared Mayo. I think it's going to be somewhat similar. They're still going to like to run the ball, but it should favor Stevenson more than it did when they brought in Ezekiel Elliott and just kind of screwed having a feature back over for fantasy purposes. Stevenson's a great player. I like the talent, and I'm just buying the dip when he was the RB10, averaging 14.7 points per game, and now his situation is improving. He just such a bad situation last year. It was really hard to expect anything, and he still wasn't bad. So I expect if they get a new quarterback, new coach, new offensive coordinator, should help him reach at least 14.7 points per game and around that mark, causing his dynasty value to go back up. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, come back for more. Let me know what you think about this list. And let me know any players that you are going to be buying this dynasty offseason. Of course, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.